It's the early 2000s. It's Friday night, you finished your homework early, and now with your parents' blessing, it was time to visit your local Blockbuster to rent your favorite movies and games for the weekend. There was something about rentals, a proposition vastly more affordable than owning at the time, that became a global phenomenon in the early 2000s. The smell of candy and popcorn, the life-size posters, the excitement of bringing the family together for movie night was a tradition that became synonymous with the movie and gaming industry as a whole. So many rental facilities had a Game Crazy or a GameStop adjacent to them, but by the time I stepped over the great divide between renting and owning, exploring the catalog of this neighboring establishment, the Xbox and PS2 had already launched with such legendary titles as Halo 2, Gran Turismo, Burnout 3, and Knights of the Old Republic. Swayed by the influence of friends and television, I began amassing my collection of used games, renting, buying, rinse, and repeat. Still though, getting my hands on the latest titles was a challenge as gaming just wasn't a luxury we could afford at the time. Hey, my first Xbox came from Goodwill. I ain't ashamed of it though, I'm sure we've all been there. Long story short, as chains like Hollywood Video, Blockbuster, and Game Crazy fizzled out, rest in peace, finding new avenues for trying out the latest games and movies was limited. There were services like Redbox, but oftentimes discs were swapped or left unreadable by previous renters, and still late fees loomed over the entire transaction. Then, as the market became more virtual, along came Netflix with this branded subscription service and subsequently Gamefly, a service with a similar approach focusing on a library of thousands of games. The idea of renting your favorite film or games, keeping them as long as you want with no late fees, maybe even buying them at a discounted price, was too good of an offer to pass up. Before services like Game Pass or even PlayStation Plus, Gamefly catered to a new generation of gamers who found virtual catalogs more convenient and expedient. So with brick and mortar stores, we waited until the weekend to get the games we wanted. Now we put the games in a queue and prayed that when we got home from school the following days to come, that our games would have arrived in the mail. And who doesn't love getting stuff in the mail? I can remember thinking all day about the games I placed in Gamefly's queue. Then when I got home and threw open the mailbox, seeing that orange envelope was a feeling that sort of defined my early teenage years. And I have to say, that feeling between visiting a store or ordering a game can't be recreated with the immediacy that exists today through streaming services. Waiting until the end of the week for a delivery filled us with anticipation. Now with a couple of clicks, we can own and play our content on any device, anywhere. Gamefly tried its hand at creating a similar streaming platform in 2015 for a console-free service, requiring users to only own a smart television, controller, and access to the internet. In an awkward turn of events, Gamefly parted out its cloud streaming technologies and Israeli development team to EA in 2018, who claimed not to possess any ownership of Gamefly's actual business. Unfortunately though, it wasn't 3 months later that Gamefly decided to close the virtual doors on its streaming service. But this doesn't come to much surprise, as streaming video games is a business model that stands on shaky ground. So much of it is dependent on a reliable network of connectivity that just doesn't exist yet. While today, Xbox and PlayStation lay the groundwork for cloud gaming, it may not reap the benefits until years in the future. So where does that leave Gamefly? Although its investment in the cloud gaming services passed on, it still exists today doing the same old thing it did nearly a decade ago, shipping games for a reasonable subscription fee with no late fees. How long will they go on? I guess as long as the disc media is relevant, which may not be much longer, but that's a subject for another video. For now, thank you all so very much for watching this brief little video. Let me know in the comments if you remember the days of Hollywood Video, Blockbuster, or Gamefly. We were all at different points in our life when these services were popular, and some of us have fond memories of it. Keep in mind, you guys, I don't endorse Gamefly. I was just running back on memory lane and I thought this would be an interesting topic for a video. I wish I had more information as far as what Gamefly is up to, but they're not really, they haven't died. They're just a company that's fizzling out with time. Eventually, as I said before, discs may no longer be relevant. As we find with Nintendo, sometimes you just get an empty box. But this will be a discussion for another video. I don't want to spoil the topic. But I want to thank you guys so much for watching this video. Anyways, thanks again for watching and Godspeed your return.